Hello, Draftarig, YouTube channel. Welcome to another Draftarig Season 5 live coach interview. This time we have Tacenda from the Iron Serpent League, which I happen to be the commissioner for. Tacenda, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. You?
I'm doing pretty good. Got some errands done, and now I'm just ready to relax for the rest of the evening and have some fun.
Nice. That's good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know, and kind of your history in the server, and we'll start with that, and then we'll get into some questions about your season.
Cool. So I started playing Pokemon about towards the end of Sun and Moon. It was just like random battles on Showdown, and then after that I started uh Sword and Shield with a little bit of random battles, and I started playing OU after a little bit, and that was fun. And eventually, towards the end of Sword and Shield, season 4, I was looking for draft leagues because I was inspired by MV and Pokegame, their Shuckle League, and that's when I joined Spirit Pillar, now Draftarig. Last season I did very well, and that's why I was able to jump to Iron Serpent instead of the second tier, and yeah, that's kind of it, honestly.
Sweet. Well, your season didn't go as intended. We're just finished up here today, with the final week of Iron Serpent League. Me and you both kind of had a rough season. The Wii's normally more of one of the most consistent teams, staying right in the Gavega zone, hanging out. But we couldn't really get it through, and we didn't win a single game, and you had some struggles. So tell us a little bit about your season, considering that even though you didn't have very many wins, your differential, if you were to not pay too much attention to the standing, you'd think that you would have had a pretty good season.
Yeah. So starting in like around where we started the draft, I was like super excited. I was going for more like hyper offense, which last season I went sun, so like it wasn't like that much different. There was just no weather this time, and so going in, I was like trying to plan around S tiers and some of the new Pokemon maybe, though I didn't end up with any. So I was thinking of drafting Magearna. That didn't end up happening. It did get sniped, and uh, I ended up drafting Iron Valiant mistakenly. I mean, not really mistakenly, but I wanted Dragapult over Iron Valiant, and I don't know why. It was just maybe in the heat of the moment. I forgot that I did. And you know, I'm only realizing that like 2 weeks before the season ends, honestly, but doesn't matter. I was super excited to like draft like one of my favorite Pokemon, like Thunderstarian. Love that thing. And my team had like very good speed tiers, like you had said, and I was super thrilled that there's something good about it.
Yeah. If you could
And
go back in
obviously,
time, obviously, seeing how the season turned out, do you think you would have taken a different Pokemon in round one other than Iron Valiant?
yeah, I would have taken Dragapult, honestly. And I don't know, maybe other options would have been better with my plan besides Iron Valiant. I didn't have the best ways of breaking poisons like uh Daizuka told me.
Yeah, there's always oversights when you draft a team, especially in a live draft setting where we were doing it kind of rapid fire. So, um, tell us a little bit about how you enjoyed the live draft, if you prefer doing the slow draft so you can think things through, or if the live draft presented like a more fun challenge because you had to be kind of quick with your decisions?
Yeah, so live draft was like very fun, honestly. I loved it a lot. It was my first one. I had done 2 slow drafts prior, and slow drafts are awesome too. It gives you a lot of time, a lot of like anticipation, and yeah, both are very fun. I think I like live draft more, honestly.
Honestly, every time I've done a live draft, I feel like even if my team doesn't end up that fun, just the drafting is probably one of the most fun parts of playing in Draft League, and live draft makes the drafting process, I think, 5 times more fun than it would be regularly. So I agree.
Definitely.
Um, who is your MVP, do you think, this season on your team? You mentioned that you love Thundurus, but was there any other Pokemon that you really gravitated towards when you were prepping, or just thought did really well that you didn't expect?
So Meowscarada is always great. I love that thing a lot. Shout out to Yuxi for the tech in week 2 that got me one of my only 2 wins. The psychic noise on Comfey, it like forced it to struggle, which was great. Um, and I would give it to either Iron Moth or Meowscarada, just like best performance and um, just easy to work with, always good mons.
Okay. Yeah, I love Meowscarada, especially with the buffs, and I've been a fan of Iron Moth. It's probably one of my favorite Paradox Pokemon. I've been trying to shiny hunt it. Like the last 4 times I've made a shiny sandwich in the game, I've made it to go get an Iron Moth, and I still haven't got one yet. So that's kind of sad, but I definitely want to get one for my cartridge because I just think that any Volcarona variant or things that we can get are really cool.
Yeah, Volcarona is awesome.
Exactly. Um, how do you feel about your, final week of the season? You didn't really have much to play for, so you just kind of go into it expecting to have some fun. How do you like your team's performance, and can you talk about your match a little bit and just how, you can set up a good foundation going into the next season with your final week?
So I prepped with Daizuk, and I just obviously being relegated no matter what, we are just like, let's just make some fun sets. And I feel bad for Glitch. Hi Glitch. I feel bad that I hacked him in the end. That was a rightful win for him, and I hit freeze dry 3 times in a row, and that's just how it is. Or not freeze dry.
Sheer cold.
You're cold. Yeah.
Yeah. The Oko moves have been coming out a little bit more often the last couple weeks for all the with all the fun happening and some teams playing with not a lot on the line. You can see the creativity coming out a little bit more for fun rather than the try and win. And so those one-hit KO moves, I feel like every time you just click it with pure confidence, I feel like it works out good for you.
Yeah. And my favorite set from that game was the Amnesia Licky Licky that just completely walled um what is it? The turtle, the big turtle, Terapagos, that's what it was. And yeah, it just stalled it out and beat it 1v1, and that was just really great.
All right. Um, I guess another question I would have for you, considering our season is just ending and you didn't make playoffs, what was your favorite part about being in the Iron Serpent League? How do you feel the coaches did, and if you have any playoff predictions now that I've revealed the standings? Um, what do you think might happen, just from someone who's been a little bit more active in the chat than some of the other users?
Well, I think that Iron Serpent was like one of the like most competitive leagues in the entire server. I think everyone is super close, and I don't know. I got to see that. I got to see like the top teams firsthand facing 5 of the top 6, and I could tell that like these players are insanely good. I think all of them could be victory, as they will be, honestly. But for playoffs, I think that for who would win, I think I would say either Gustav or Dangerous. I think those are like the best teams. Those are my favorite to win. And yeah,
Honestly, I feel like any of the 6 teams that made it in could win the whole thing. We've got, Spirit Leaf with Coach Bruno in there, and they were dead last in my preseason power rankings, and they uh, managed to make the playoffs and even have the award-winning Chandelure as the Terra captain of our season. And then we've got Gustav with the Rain team, Danger West with his Sun team, Cute Hands, New Bison got the league MVP in Flutter Main. Uh, Tesselecta had our offensive Pokemon of the year with Sneasler, and then we got the Ahei kid who had to play basically an extra playoff game and had to win the final match of the season to even make it in. So I feel like out of those 6, whoever comes out on top definitely deserves a spot in Premier, and those who will go to victory are going to be definitely some of the top coaches to look out for. Um, Speaking of Chandelure, tell us a little bit about your team logo and kind of the inspiration behind it.
I base my team off the New Orleans Saints just because Chandelure is like it almost looks like the logo, like the fleur de lis,
Oh,
and Chandelure is also like one of my favorite Pokemon too, like maybe second behind Rowlet, and I thought it would be fun to base my team around that. And it's super hyped that Spirit Leaf got a um best Terra captain with Chandelure. Very happy for him.
yeah, Chandelure's always been one of my favorite Pokemon as well. And the I didn't realize that the the Fleur de Lis looks so much like it until you just said that actually, which is really funny. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's pretty good. Are you planning on sticking with the Chandelures going into the next season, perhaps, or is there? I know some teams like to rebrand whenever they move up or move down. Or are you trying to see if the you can make New Orleans kind of a household name?
I'm just trying to make a better logo because my logo was kind of lazy for my last season, so I want to like step it up. And if I end up having to rebrand to make it easier, then so be it. Honestly.
Yeah, rumors are out that the Wii's may be rebranding as well, so we'll just have to see what happens for next season. Um,
Not before I buy my hat.
oh, true. I got to restock on the Wii's hats. Uh, who do you think the biggest steal this season was for your team in the draft? 'Cause you have Pokemon like Uxie, Articuno, and Licklicky that I always see get picked towards the end of drafts and always seem to overperform. Um, so which one do you think was like the most like clutch member that you didn't expect to end up on your team?
I would say Licky Licky absolutely outperformed expectations for being an F tier. Like it was so important to like my defensive core, and I didn't expect that having Skarmory, Dragalge, but Licky Licky like takes hits so well, and its typing is pretty good defensively, just base normal type.
Honestly, it's an underrated wish passer as well, and it has insane coverage moves. What I like about it is that you can kind of tailor it each match, like whether you want to be physical with Body Slam or special and run like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and hit clutch like 50% KOs, 2-hit KOs that you wouldn't expect it to hit. So I had
Right.
Licky Licky my first season in Premier League actually, and it was one of my favorite Pokemon to bring.
Yeah, you can really do anything with it. Its move pool is so good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better F tiers in my opinion. Is there any Pokemon you drafted that you think was kind of disappointing or that you didn't really think is worth necessarily where you took it at?
So this might be user error, but Swampert kind of underperformed for being a Terra captain. Maybe I could have still drafted Swampert, but for a Terra captain, maybe I would pick something else, like maybe Articuno even would have been cool. But
Yeah, Swampert is always one of those Pokemon that I can either see like whoever, depending on who's using it, it's like insanely good or can be insanely mid.
yeah, I'm guessing it's probably my fault more than anything, because Swampert is fantastic.
And who knows, in especially in like Nat Dex leagues, it's kind of hard to tell which ones will do well with the cut moves or moves that get added, and then you're playing with like things like hidden power, and so it's just kind of hard to tell, especially with Pokemon that 4 times weakness, which ones will definitely be better or worse in certain situations.
Yeah, Grass is a hard one to have too. I think Grass is like common coverage that a lot of things have, and Swampert is just a big victim of that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Going into, I guess, next season, you're probably most likely going to be relegated unless we have a few drops. There's always, uh, exceptions considering your differential and stuff. You're kind of on the line where you probably, with how many wins you have earned a relegation spot. So, what would you say to your fans or people that are supporters of you that going into next season so that you can either make it back into one of the Division 3 leagues or even perhaps Victory and Premier in the future?
I'll be back. I'll be back. I can do this next season. Uh, Rough seasons, they happen. It happens. I just different drafts will always bring different results at the end of the day.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, the Wiis, they thought they drafted a really fun team, and we ended up getting relegated out of Premier. You're gonna most likely end up in a lower division, but that doesn't mean that that's the consistency. It's just making sure that we improve from this season and definitely maybe draft some more Pokemon we're comfortable with and see if we can get back to where we were.
Definitely. I think you got this more than anything. I think you can make it back.
Yeah, we'll see. We've definitely upped the competition a lot from when I first was in Premier League, and I've been hanging on by a thread every season. That's not saying that I'm like discouraged or think I won't make it back, because even in my final weeks of Premier League, I almost won a few games and was trying to play spoiler for all the coaches and knock them out of their playoff spots or relegate them. I know I had a close game against Flygon, which if I would have won that, he could have ended up in my position, and I had a close game against Gene as well, who is the Premier League reigning champion. So, you know, I feel like both of us have a pretty good shot at getting back to where we were this season and even maybe winning a few leagues. Who knows? I know that in other leagues I've seen you in, like the NHDL, you've always been a consistent player as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
who are your favorite teams, would you say, outside of Iron Serpent League? Like, do you have a favorite for Premier League or Victory League playoffs? Or honestly, any of the other leagues now that we're at the end of the season?
Now that you say it, I think the Go's gains are really cool. uh, I like I like the Ampharos. I'm happy they were able to stay in Premier. They edged it out. Um, I like B-Kit's team, the Rift Raiders. Their team is awesome too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Go's Gains will have something very unexpected for us in the playoffs, honestly. I know that Coach Dybro, he definitely he definitely likes to bring really fun sets, and his team is a very good one. So we'll see how they do in victory playoffs. We'll see how all the playoffs happen in this league, and yeah, it's definitely the server is definitely getting a little bit more active now that the playoffs are starting, and I'm super excited to see how all these leagues playoffs turn out and who moves to where going into the next season.
Yeah,
Uh,
very hyped for that.
do you have any sort of like game plans or uh, like styles that you like to play in that maybe you didn't do as much this season that maybe led to you losing a few extra games? I know like I tried drafting like a more bulky, stallish team because it's something I never really play with, and it just does not fit my like play style. And so I was wondering if you think you have like a specific play style that you like to thrive in.
I think balance is like the easiest for me to play with, like having switch-ins at the very least, rather than like with hyper offense. You have quote unquote switch-ins most of the time, and yeah, I like balance the most, and I did not draft that this season. I don't think, at least until after the trades.
Yeah, I'm a more of a balance or bulky offense player myself. I like to have fat Pokemon that can sponge hits but also hit hard back. That's why when I had uh, Conkeldurr on my team in last Premier League, it was one of my like favorite Pokemon to use. I felt like for a Terra Captain, Conkeldurr put in an insane amount of work. And this season, I didn't really draft anything close to as hard hitting as that could help sponge a hit and also do what I ended up with, kind of just a really passive team until I ended up with Vespiquen on my roster.
Vespiquen being the hard hitter that it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, question from the audience. I saw this one, but since you have Coach Daizuk as helping you prep, but also you think that the Go's Gains will be doing well in the playoffs, he would like to know, why is he your inspiration?
Because Daizuk is awesome. 'Cause you know what they say.
You know what they
Daizuk.
say.
Yeah, yeah. You know what they say? They say Daizuk or no Daizuk. You will lose if you don't have Daizuk.
Amazing. Another question from the audience is, what do they say?
I just told you, Sunflagon.
Exactly. He wasn't paying attention.
The Daizuk way.
Um, I guess uh, we covered pretty much like your team origin and your season a little bit. Um, what was your experience like so far this season? Just kind of overall vibes of the server as a whole, and how do you feel about our direction, and if what would you say to people who are kind of on the edge about returning, even though they may have had a poor season?
Draftarig is a very fun community to be in, and the draft leagues, they're awesome too. I think that even if you don't win, even if you do badly, you can still have fun. And that's the great thing about it. You can be creative, and if you're on the edge of returning, I think, why not? You can have fun. Maybe it's a little stressful, but it's all for the fun. And if you need help, then you can always ask for it.
Honestly, that's a good way to look at it. I know there's plenty of people in here who love to team build, do mocks with each other, and if you need help, you know what they say. Anyway, another question from the audience, this one from Glider. Uh, if you could have made any move during the season to help increase your performance, do you think there was one out there, and what would have it been?
So I had, if you're talking about trades, I had made all my trades like week one, and week, and now that I'm looking at it, I think that I made some wrong trades. Like keeping Megalodios to help break poisons would have been great. Um, that's kind of what I would change mostly. Like try to look for something else that doesn't involve getting rid of Megalodios, because Iron Valiant really needs help breaking those poisons.
Yeah, and Megalodios seems like one of the better ones of the Mega Pokemon. I know I used Megalodios before in one of my other leagues, and it was a really consistent user. So maybe using all your traits so early and being stuck with your team kind of set up just a hard way to improve. Um, Going into next season, is there any like Pokemon you've been dying to use without revealing too much draft plans? Could you give us like 3 or 4 Pokemon that you are just interested in trying out or seeing used that kind of are on your radar now?
So the more and more that play in these draft leagues, the more I see Slowking Galar just be fantastic every single season with for whoever drafts it. That thing is definitely very good. Maybe a accompanying ice type with the chilly reception. Um, Ursaluna Blood Moon has also been looking cool for me. Just very bulky, strong, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of what I've been looking at mostly.
uh, Ursaluna Blood Moon was originally on the Wheezes radar with their Pecharunt team. Um, we're not gonna go too far into what my draft plans were at the beginning of the season because I ended up not following them really at all, other than picking Pecharunt round one. But there was a couple teams I had where I had Blood Moon on it, and Palafin and Shaman Sky were like the 3 that I wanted to get and then play with Pecharunt, just because I wanted to have really strong priority from special attacking and physical attacking side, but I also thought that the annoyingness of my seed flares dropping people's special defense and then the malignant chain poisons I thought would be really fun to try and just be an annoying team that always went first. But we ended up not doing that. We
Yeah.
ended up drafting Stall and playing bad anyway.
That core would have been very nice. I think that would have been more your style, I imagine.
Oh yeah, I should have definitely. I watched the Pokemon 2000 movie and heard Lugia's song, and then just kind of put in my brain that Lugia was gonna be good, and it didn't really. It didn't really happen.
Motivated by the movie. I see. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Um, just a little fun question, since I know that you like to play Pokemon Unite. Uh, for yourself, what are your favorite characters to play in that game? Because I've only played with you guys like once or twice, and I've only played it like 3 times total ever. So if I were to get into it again and play more with you all, who are the characters I should try out and why?
I like for having fun. I mostly like the mages. Like, for example, like Espeon, Alola Ninetales, Pikachu, that kind of stuff. That is kind of how, like, that's just how I like to play Pokemon Unite a lot. You get you can hit people from far away, and it's like way easier to do that than approach and get blown back by CC and stuff like that and not be able to do anything. That's when I have the most fun. And I also like playing support like Blissey and Eldegoss and yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, when the game first came out, I played like for like 3 or 4 hours all at once, and I only used Cramorant the entire time, and so I'm trying to see if I can find a character that it can make me feel as fun as day one Cramorant made me feel.
Old Pokemon Unite, for some reason, the direction they took was just nerfing Cramorant every time, which is kind of sad.
I
But now
know.
it's better now, so that's fun.
Um, Question from the audience. If there was one mon you could have added to the team to help your season outside of your free agencies, what would have it been?
Ooh, good one. I'm not sure, honestly. Um,
I don't even remember what's on our draft board. I know there was some decent stuff that was left over. I feel like the Iron Serpent uh, league had a lot of fun picks and didn't necessarily pick the top like draft Pokemon that we always see, which was kind of nice to see too.
True, TJ. It could have been Chen Pao. Could have given you the Iron Valiant like you wanted. Maybe Chen Pao would have been better with the rest of my team. Who knows?
Honestly, uh, I'm surprised looking at this board now at some of the things that were left available.
Yeah, like Amarot, like Hisui, that thing is crazy. There's Heatran, Tapu Fini, always amazing. Big from NHGL.
Oh yeah, this one's from Flagon. Uh, you played a lot of happy hour matches. Did they inspire you to play harder those week, or did they add more pressure to perform?
Uh, it was like kind of pressure to go fast, but it wasn't like too much pressure. It was just more fun for me. I was like more hype, and maybe I made moves too fast. Who knows, honestly. Um, that was very fun. I did like playing on Happy Hour, even though I lost both of the times I did do it.
Yeah, I have yet to play on happy hour, so next
Yeah.
season I think I'll have to either play on happy hour and then going forward if we do like a playoff happy hour, maybe I can be one of the guests. Who knows?
Yeah.
I've been in the chat a few times and had a lot of fun during happy hour, and I think that it's something we can definitely uh, grow each season.
Yeah, I think it was a very good addition to just how things work here.
Oh yeah. Uh, Question from Prince: What made this season different for you than other seasons? And this can be either competitively or just the server in general.
With the server, I got like more involved, I think, and with everything that's like going on here, I started playing Unite when I noticed that you guys here play Unite too, and it's been a lot of fun. With Draft, I looked more at it than I did my first season, last season, and even though I did worse than last season, it's because I'm playing better players. And yeah, I just got more involved overall.
Yeah, I've noticed that you've been a little bit more active and engaged in chat. We've got, it looks like 9 to 10 people that have been in here listening on and off the whole time. So you're definitely getting more friends and getting a little bit, more engaged in the server. Uh, do you think, this is a question from your DLC, uh, do you think that there are things that I could do next season if I were to be your DLC again that you enjoyed that I did this season that you'd like to see more of? I was a little bit busy and so things kind of weren't perfect, but I felt like any constructive criticism for any of the DLCs to help the server and the players have more fun is warranted because honestly, as a DLC, it's our job to make sure people are having as much fun as possible. So, what did you really appreciate that I did, and what do you want to see more of? I guess would be the main question.
But all the awards for the playoff and Pokemon of the week, and also the draft review and the power rankings, like being more like uploading them on the YouTube channel, that was cool so that they're easier to access and more people can see them. I think that was really cool. Um, I don't know what you could have done more of, honestly. I think you did amazing. I had a lot of fun, and that's kind of the point.
Well, I appreciate it, and yeah, I do. I like making the graphics for the MVPs and stuff. Out of all the awards, were any of them like super surprising, or did it all kind of make sense once you saw me post the graphics, just based off of what you've seen this season?
I know when I faced Chandelure, the Terra captain of the league, uh, that thing was a threat. That makes a lot of sense. Fluttermane, I faced that too. Always good, amazing Pokemon. Celesteela is a super good defensive Pokemon. I'm a fan. And Sneasler, of course. That thing was a monster. You know, it runs away with games pretty easily.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is that Caesar and Celesteela both won awards, but at some point they led the MVP race for a while, and I think that Sneasler only came to like 4 or 5 games as well, and it was second in kills, so it could have easily been our league MVP had it shown up a little bit more, but having 4 times weakness to Psychic and being weak to Earthquake, I think kind of scares it to come every single week.
Yeah, there's a lot of like good ground types and even Pokemon that just can take hits from it too. Sometimes it depends on what you bring against it.
Awesome. Well, I've had a lot of fun during this interview. We're going to wrap it up here. If there's any final words you'd like to say to the fans or the people in the chat about this season or just inspiration going into next, the floor is yours.
I'll see y'all next season. I'll be back for you. I'm ready to rematch. I will not lose again. And it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. That's it. Uh, you heard it from Tacenda firsthand. Not getting discouraged about losing and is definitely confident going forward. With that, we'll be wrapping up our Draftarig Season 5 live coach interview, and we'll have another one coming for you shortly. Thanks, guys.